Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
President Donald Trump has been under mounting pressure from his supporters to release additional information related to the government's sex trafficking probe into Jeffrey Epstein, the disgraced financier and sex offender who died by suicide in a Manhattan jail in 2019. Some analysts now predict the issue could become the first to expose cracks in Trump's MAGA base. Nathaniel Burkhead is an associate professor of political science at Kansas State University.
I think that this, frankly, might be the single biggest issue that drives a wedge between the president and many of his supporters. They've been loyal to him for a number of different things, but this is a little bit different. I think because the Epstein saga came about independent of Donald Trump. But then he encouraged it and indeed brought many of these Epstein conspiracy theorists into his administration.
The Epstein affair has increasingly disquieted the White House after the Justice Department earlier this month concluded there was no evidence to support long-held conspiracy theories about his clients and death. As a result, some of Trump's most loyal followers became furious after his administration reversed course on his promise to release files on Epstein. With the pressure building, Trump last week said he directed Attorney General Pam Bondi to ask a court to release grand jury testimony about Epstein. Brian Uzi is a sociologist and professor at Northwestern University.
I think he has some underlying reason for not releasing the information. So what's his best play? His best play is to say to his constituency, I'm going to release it. But he won't. His best play as a leader to keep the group together is to say, I will release it, but what gets released won't be what you want.
Republican strategist Matt Terrell said the White House needs to be clear with Trump's supporters.
If you can't get things out there on this Epstein situation, explain why that's the case. Because really, it's not just about government transparency and equal justice, but it's also clarity that the mega base wants right now. They just want clarity on where things are. As long as the administration provides that, they'll maintain the support of the mega base.
Last week, Trump sued the Wall Street Journal and its owners over a report that his name was on a 2003 birthday greeting for Epstein that included a sexually suggestive drawing and a reference to secrets they shared. Uzi says the Epstein controversy could be used as political leverage by billionaire Elon Musk and Rupert Murdoch, who owns the Wall Street Journal.
That article never would have got published in the Wall Street Journal unless Rupert Murdoch said, I okay it. So here you have Rupert Murdoch also beginning to jockey for position to remind Trump that, now that the boogeyman has been annihilated, there's things that I want just for me. And you have to start to think about how I'm going to get that.
Trump is seeking at least $10 billion in damages over the report, saying Murdoch's newspaper defamed him and caused him to suffer overwhelming financial and reputational harm.
Hundreds of Bedouin civilians evacuated Syria's predominantly Druze city of Suwaida on Monday. The exodus is part of a US-backed truce meant to end fighting that has killed hundreds of people, state media and witnesses said. The ceasefire took hold on Sunday as Interior Ministry security forces deployed on Suwaida's outskirts, allowing for the release of hostages and detainees held by the warring sides. A second large group of civilians will be evacuated if the situation remains calm, a Syrian security forces member said. The fighting began a week ago with clashes between Bedouin and Druze fighters. Damascus troops, sent to ease tensions, were drawn into the violence and accused of widespread violations against the Druze. With hundreds reported killed, it has posed a major test for interim President Ahmed al-Sharaa. The Druze are a small but influential minority in Syria, Israel and Lebanon. They follow a religion that is an offshoot of a branch of Islam. Some ultra-conservative Sunni Muslims deem their beliefs heretical. Citing the goal of protecting the Druze and keeping southern Syria demilitarized, Israel attacked government forces last week in the south and struck the defense ministry in Damascus. Washington, which has expressed support for Syria since Sharaa met US President Donald Trump in May, said it did not approve of Israel's strikes. US envoy Tom Barrack said on Monday the Syrian government needed to be held accountable. According to the United Nations, at least 93,000 people have been uprooted by the fighting.
Peace talks between Ukraine and Russia are planned for Wednesday in Turkey. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky quoted a senior Kyiv official as saying on Monday, it would be the first such talks in 7 weeks. The Kremlin said it was waiting for an understanding on the date of the talks, but acknowledged that the two sides were diametrically opposed in their positions on how to end the war. Putin, who is under increasing pressure from U.S. President Donald Trump to show progress towards ending the conflict, turned down a previous challenge from Zelensky to meet him in person. Nearly 3.5 years after Russia began its full-scale invasion, the war in Ukraine is showing no sign of abating. Russia attacked Ukraine with missiles and hundreds of drones overnight, killing 2 people and wounding 15, Zelensky said on Monday. Explosions lit up the night sky, and the high-pitched whine of drone engines reverberated through Kyiv. People sheltering in one of Kyiv's metro stations choked on dust after a strike caused damage to the entrance. Ukraine's Air Force said the attack involved the launch of over 400 drones and 24 missiles, with 23 drones hitting their target across Ukraine. Russian media said Ukraine carried out drone attacks, causing chaos at airports serving Moscow on Monday. Thousands of passengers waited in line or slept on the ground after flights were canceled or delayed. Russia's defense ministry said it had downed over 100 Ukrainian drones overnight, including 30 over the Moscow region.
Hadi Ali, hadi Ali sağa, sola.
Rising costs aren't stopping Swiss chocolate maker Lindt & Sprüngli raking in sales. The firm said Tuesday that revenue hit close to $3 billion for the January to June period, beating forecasts. That prompted it to raise its growth outlook for the year to up to 11%. Shoppers apparently weren't put off by hefty price increases for its products. They went up close to 16% over the period. Much of that was driven by high prices for essential ingredient cocoa. It's been trading at elevated levels following poor harvests in key producer nations. The maker of Lindor chocolate balls said it had benefited from strong customer loyalty and a trend towards more premium products. Sales in Europe led gains, with growth of close to 18%. But North America looked a lot weaker, with a rise of just 3.6% amid weak consumer sentiment. Lindt also faced foreign exchange headwinds, with the Swiss franc soaring during a period of global economic turmoil. That cuts the value of its overseas earnings when changed into its home currency.